What is up, guys? My name is Sprits'n Sniffs, and today we're going to be reviewing what's in this package. Just got back from work and saw it was delivered. This is the fragrances from the dupe brand called Oakcha. So without further ado, let's open up this box and see how everything's packaged. When it comes to packaging, it's pretty clear that these dupe brands don't care that much about it. But I will say that in comparison to the fragrances, the boxes of these fragrances are a lot better, but the packaging is still pretty bad. Nothing special, not even something as simple as bubble wrap. But what do you expect? So, first impressions on all these. I do like how the boxes have their own magnetic closing piece. Seems nice, but now we have to actually smell all of them. And I don't really remember which one is which, but I guess I'll find out when I smell them. Okay, before I do smell them, though, I do want to point out that it looks like these have been scratched. I'll show you guys maybe a little bit closer to see. Before I've even done anything with them, they look a little scratched. So that is something to point out. All right, so this one right here is Blue Smoke. Oh, that atomizer is actually very good. Wow. And this one, before I even have to smell it on the paper, it smells like it's trying to replicate Layton. And it's doing a pretty poor job, I'll say. On the first impressions, it honestly just smells way fruitier than Layton. Perhaps the dry down could change, but off of the just top notes, I can already say this is like barely 50% Layton. Not bad though, but Atomizer is definitely something to talk about. Next one, we have Verse 22. And dang, these caps are actually on there pretty tight. Same with this one though. This one's also scratched. Well, let's see. Atomizer, very nice for these fragrances. And this is Dior Sauvage. I did the same ones that I did for the fragrance review. So Dior Sauvage, Aventus, Layton, and Tobacco Vanille, just to keep things consistent. And this smells similar to Dior Sauvage. Not really that close, though. I'm definitely going to be a lot harsher on this review than I was with the alt fragrance one. But as far as I'm concerned, the top notes on these ones are not really smelling like the real deal. Even after letting it wait for a bit, yeah, it's definitely lacking the peppery spice from Sauvage. Moving on to Torrid Day, which this one I do know which one it is because it's always in the promotion. This is the Tobacco Vanille clone. Let's see. Very nice. Okay. And woo! That one is strong on the sweetness. Like heavy on the tonka bean, it seems. Now, I'm not really sure what the notes in these fragrances are, but it seems like if you took, it almost seems a little bit closer to Dossier's Tobacco Vanille clone. Very, very sweet. Not really having much vanilla, or I'm sorry, not really much tobacco. More so tonka and vanilla, it seems. So yeah, once again, off the rip, this is like lacking in the top notes of the real things. I'm gonna give all these about 5-10 minutes to dry down to see if they change a little bit or see if it's just how the fragrances are. And last but not least, we have a Ventus clone, which is called Ineffable. We're gonna see how this one is. I do like how this bottle is, the white one. We'll see how this one is. Oh my goodness, that atomizer seems better than all the others. I don't understand how they're that inconsistent. But so far, quality-wise on the bottle, the boxes, everything is better than alt fragrances. So if we're comparing alt fragrance to Oakcha, Oakcha has the upper hand on presentation. But what is that? Hold on, let me spray this again. Dang, that atomizer is just really good for this fragrance. It's unreasonably good for a fragrance that costs this price. But this is not Aventus. Mind you, I went out of my way to make sure I bought all of these fragrances. Layton, Tobacco Vanille, Dior Sauvage, and Aventus. I have all of them. I just bought Aventus for this video. And this is not Aventus. Like, Even when I smelled aventus prior, this is not, I don't know what this is, but it is not aventus. It almost smells like a little minty, maybe. Either way, guys, that is not aventus. So when it comes to top notes and closeness to the real deal, none of these are even within 50% accuracy. Do they smell good? Yeah, but as dupes, first impressions, it's looking kind of rough. I'll get back to you guys within a week or two, and then I'll give you guys my full opinion. So I'll see you guys in a bit. So guys, I am back, and after giving all of these fragrances a full review, it is time for me to give you guys my overall opinion of the brand Oakcha. So let's get into it. Before I get started, I must point out the fact that these have some very, very good atomizers. Just take a moment to listen to these pressurized atomizers. Significantly better bottle quality than alt fragrances. The caps stay on tight, the atomizers spray very well. I'm surprised with that. That is very good. All right, now let's get into the actual review. First, we have verse 22, which is emulating Dior Sauvage. How did it stand up to it? Well, the first thing I want to point out is that this smells like Dior Sauvage, but only the citrus parts of it. It smells like it has none of the peppery backbone of Sauvage or none of the ambroxan. It's just pure citrus. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm not a fan of this one. I think out of all of them, this was my least favorite. Overall, this one was not one that I would recommend. But comparing it to the alt fragrance one and this one, I would say alt fragrances had a closer smell to Sauvage, but this one is just better quality. It lasted longer and it just, I think, works better. So if I had to pick between this and alt fragrance Dior Sauvage clone, I'd probably pick this one. But as a clone, the percentage scale, I'd give it about a 60% accuracy at max. Probably closer to 50 though. Not that great. Overall, kind of disappointed. Next we have Ineffable, which is supposed to be the aventus clone. And this one is extremely disappointing. Probably more disappointing than verse 22. Why? Because it really smells absolutely nothing like aventus. Probably about 30% accurate to aventus. It has the pineapple smell, but this smells more like a women's fragrance, to be honest with you, than it smells like a man's fragrance. It's pineapple and no smoke, no birch, no anything that is not fruit. That's all it is. But it's just missing all of the deep, richer parts of what makes these fragrances good. In the blind smell test given to multiple people, all of them picked the original Aventus as the better smelling one. All of them picked the original Dior Sauvage as the better smelling one. So what do I have to say about this one? Honestly, I'm really disappointed. The performance on it was okay. I'd say it's probably a little bit worse than the real deal Aventus, but for something that doesn't even smell like Aventus, to be honest with you, very disappointed. Compared to the alt fragrance one, alt fragrance once again did have a more accurate smelling clone, but the clone of alt, it kind of smelled different after 2 weeks and no longer smelled like aventus. So I'd probably still pick this one before I ever picked the alt fragrance one. Now we're getting into the ones that definitely were pretty surprising. We have the one called Blue Smoke, which is supposed to be the Leighton dupe. How do I feel about this one? Well, this one was actually surprisingly good. It had some of that mentholic feel to Leighton, granted not to the good quality that Leighton has. And it smells like Leighton if you up the apple, lower the mentholic kind of feel to it, and maybe remove a little bit of the spiciness. That's what this is. It's pretty accurate, I'll say. It smells like a lower quality version of it. That's what it is. So as far as how close it is to Leighton, could I recommend this? Absolutely. This one is pretty good. I would say about 70-75% accurate. The longevity on it was pretty good, and this one actually got me the most compliments compared to all of them. I had people following me, asking me what I was wearing. I had to tell them that it was this. This one is probably the best one in terms of how I got reactions from. Very good, pretty accurate. The apple, extra apple, does smell a lot more synthetic in this than it does in the real deal Layton. But overall, this one I'm not that disappointed in. I expect this fully from a dupe. Compared to the Layton one of Alt Fragrances, I prefer this one over Layton from Alt Fragrance. This one seems like it smells a little bit more accurate, smells better, and again, higher quality. So it seems to be a recurring theme that I would pick these ones over the Alt Fragrance ones, but this one for sure I'd be picking over Alt Fragrance. And lastly, we have the Tobacco Vanille dupe from Tom Ford, this one called Torrid Day. And not surprisingly, this one is actually the most accurate to its original one. I think it was actually the same thing for the Alt Fragrance one, but it seems like Tobacco Vanille is a very easy fragrance to dupe. This one I would say is about 80% similar. What it has is just too much sweetness to it, which is very common in a lot of Tom Ford dupes. And it's just lacking, I think, the spicy tobacco feel or that kind of feeling that you get from the tobacco in Tobacco Vanille. That's what it's missing. Too sweet, too little tobacco. Other than that, in a blind smell test, this one fooled multiple people. Random strangers, co-workers, people thought that this was the real thing, and I'm surprised to say the least. But I'm not surprised because this was, I think, like I said, the same results with the Nicotiana from the Alt Fragrance one. So it seems like the recurring theme with these dupe brand fragrances is that if you're going to pick one, pick something on the spicier side. If you pick something that's fruity, they're going to be missing a lot of that woodiness. But at least with these spicier fragrances, these spices kind of cover up the fact that they're missing those woodier and drier kind of smells. So overall, I think my favorite smelling one would probably be the Layton one. And I would say this one is a good runner-up. But as far as accuracy, it was probably the Torrid Day. And all of them I think are better than the Alt Fragrance one. So how does this matter in the overall review of Oakcha? The general consensus for this, I would say, is that it is probably one of the better dupe brands that spam their ads everywhere that I've smelled between Dossier, Alt Fragrance. We're going to try some more out, the Essence Vault or something like that. There's a lot of them out there. They just spam your ads. And out of all the ones that I've tried, this is probably the highest quality one that I've tried. Just stay away from the ones that are fruitier because they are, like I said, lacking a lot of the backbone of the fragrances. But overall, as a brand, for the prices that I paid for these are not bad at all. I'm going to give this brand an overall rating of about 6.5, 7 out of 10. Not terrible, pretty good budget fragrances, but there are some designer fragrances such as Coach Green, which you can get for these prices or lower that just smell better quality and just better. So in my opinion, this is a brand I would recommend over all of the other ones that I've tested. Pretty good. They fooled some people that have the original. These could trick most people. So guys, that is my review of the brand Oakcha. Are you surprised with the results? Because I kind of am, but I'm also kind of not. Really just glad that they didn't turn sour smelling after a week or two like the Alt Fragrances did, but kind of expected this quality or this level of perfumery from these ones. But that's all I have for you guys. We will definitely be putting out more great content soon, so make sure you stay tuned. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys in the next one.